All right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies might have inspired it. Today on the show, we are live from Maya Cinemas for Wuthering Heights, the new take on the classic novel, this time from director Emerald Fennell, starring Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. And we had a great time talking about this one. Joining me over there at Maya Cinemas, we had Celine Ochoa, Nick Patrick, and Joseph Malgarini. Great panel, great time talking about this one. And thank you so much to everyone who showed up to Maya Cinemas. We'll be announcing our next live show here any day now at the time that this goes up. But we'll see you next month at Maya Cinemas. Before we get to today's conversation, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. With that said, let's talk about Wuthering Heights. I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're going to talk about Wuthering Heights. Before we get into it, I want to introduce my panel. Joseph Malgarini, first time on the show. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Joseph Malgarini, Vegas veteran and movie lover from my NYU days. So I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Happy to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Nick Patrick, returning second time. Introduce yourself to everyone.
I'm Nick Patrick. I'm a filmmaker here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Awesome. And Celine Ochoa.
Yeah, hi. I am Celine Ochoa. I'm a local filmmaker as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, support local filmmakers, everybody. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this movie. It is, it's going to be something to talk about this one. I'll tell you that much. I think we should kind of set the stage here before we start. On this podcast, we talk about movies that might have inspired the movie we just watched. We call them puzzle pieces. But before we get into that, I want to kind of set the stage with Wuthering Heights itself and where we all kind of come from as far as, are we fans of any of the previous versions, source material, any of that stuff? Because obviously there's the original book, but there's like dozens and dozens of adaptations of this on film. So I'll just say I've only seen the 39, the William Wilder one, which is great and a great piece of like Gothic filmmaking. And it's like really beautiful and really cool and really dark and big. And I think it's, as we get into the conversation, we'll get into some of what this movie took from that version and the story itself and various other versions as well. But Joseph, how about you? Are you a fan of other versions of this before going into tonight?
I'm only familiar with the Laurence Olivier version.
Yeah.
But I know there's like dozens of others. And the plot, it's like 1/3 of the book or 2/3 of the book. But that's the one that, I keep going back to.
And I think that's an important thing. There's been a lot of like the early reviews of this movie that are talking about how terrible it is. And first of all, I don't agree, but we'll get into that. But a lot of them are focusing on the fact that there's so many changes from the book. And I'm like, there's dozens of adaptations of this of this book. Like, if you need to see a legit adaptation, like, there's probably one of those will fit the bill pretty well. Like, do something interesting, do something exciting. And how many other movies are not exactly perfect adaptations of the book that they're based on? Like, it's a very ridiculous criticism, I think. But
yeah, the hate that I'm seeing is so akin to like how comic book fans are just like hate these adaptations of superhero movies when they're trying to do something different. And there's a million other adaptations. And I didn't know until today how many adaptations there were of Wuthering Heights. And I saw there was like 10 or 12 of them. I had no clue.
Yeah.
So that's insane.
yeah, I heard there's actually an MTV one where they're like rock stars. And like, yeah.
It's funny you say that because while I was watching this, I flashed to 80s and it reminded me at points of 80s MTV and 80s, well, Aaron Spelling. I mean, just with the plot points, I kept thinking about that.
Yeah, seriously.
And with the outfits and the haute couture that she was wearing, it's just completely anachronistic. But
yeah,
but yeah, definitely brought. I wanted Joan Collins to do a cameo.
Yeah, for sure. That would be great. Yeah, those big emotions of those that era and those kinds of shows. Celine, were you a fan of the book or the other, any movies of this?
I was a fan of the book.
Okay.
I never really got to finish the book completely, but I remember being very entertained with it. The adaptations I haven't also watched, but like you said earlier, I learned that there are so many.
Yeah.
Which again, like you said, it's if you want something to stick originally to the source material, go back to the other 20 adaptations that
Yeah.
are being shown.
I wonder if Emerald Fennell finished the book.
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe she just
I-
saw like masochistic relationships and I got a movie. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She said it was she took away from it being a love story, and I can tell that she definitely thinks it's a love story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's start getting into some other puzzle pieces. So I will kick it off. One that I was thinking of going into this, and I think it still fits, even though I kind of wish they did a little more of this, even though I did like the movie. But Marie Antoinette, as far as like the anachronistic score and this having the Charlie XCX score, I was expecting her music through the whole movie. That's something that I was a little kind of confused about. There was like the other singer, which was clearly not her, right? I'm not like a big but like that was not her. And like I thought it would all be that kind of modern pop, and like that I think would have almost brought the movie a little bit further over the top in a way that would have like really like helped it. But that being said, the soundtrack of Marie Antoinette is just like incredible. So doing that kind of thing with the soundtrack and like kind of mixing the tones of the different eras and all that stuff, that's where I wanted to kind of kick it off here. But Joseph, let's go to one from you.
Well, just from like a stylistic standpoint, I mean, the production design is very Disney and very like early Technicolor melodramas, and which is perverse with all the other stuff that's going on in the movie. So I don't know. It's a fun contrast. This is a pop culture, high pop culture version of Wuthering Heights.
Sure.
It's a pleasure movie. It's not even though the plot is ultimately very downbeat. It's a fun movie. My main thing about movies is like, all right, well, I wasn't bored, and no, I was never bored.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, I wore my Cure shirt tonight because I thought this was gonna be very goth, like the original, but it didn't quite work out that way. But you're bringing up Disney, and like I thought you were gonna go to like Beauty and the Beast or something. Like that would be a good Disney version
of all of the use of red, and for a moment it kept, not a moment, throughout the whole movie, it kept reminding me of Hitchcock's Marnie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where, Tippi Hedren freaks out whenever she sees the bread. And I'm like, okay, well, they're not freaking out, but it's there as a symbol, or, it's a stylistic element.
Yeah, little things to set them off and everything like that. Nick, let's go to you. What do you got?
Well, if we're talking about the colors and the production design, which is so beautiful, like it's such an incredible work. I didn't get to stay through the credits and see who the production designer was, so I'm definitely going to look it up, but they did an incredible job. And it has me thinking a lot about, even before going into this, it had me thinking about Amelie and Delectation, like all those movies done by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I hope that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
But all of his films are just super colorful. They have this like heightened sense of reality, which I think Emerald really pushed for this film. And almost I wish she pushed it further, especially in the performances. Like I really wanted it to be more over the top.
Because make you think of Baz Luhrmann, I guess that popped up.
Yes, it definitely
classic
did. Yeah,
Like Romeo and Juliet
especially
too.
Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, that was one of. Oh, that was on the list.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna bring up too.
Yeah, no. But it's like Baz and stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think all that stuff, all that over the top kind of thing, really fits in really well here with what she's trying to do, which I feel like she's been trying to do that. I was not a big fan of her previous two films. Like, I think that they're just story-wise, I just don't think that they were really there. But she definitely is somebody who is at least trying to push the envelope in a way, which is always exciting. We love to see big swing filmmakers. So she's definitely someone who can be that. So.
And like you guys said, I definitely wish she would have just taken it further. She teeters a lot between like trying to sort of stay classical, but also put in her own versions. And it's like, if you're gonna do that with the costumes, you're gonna do that with like certain scenes, just go all the way.
Yeah.
You know, go all the way with your performances, go all the way with the soundtrack, go just fuck the adaptation, sorry.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, like just go all the way and go ahead and play, you know?
Exactly. Well, let's go to another puzzle piece from you, Celine.
For me, I felt like I saw a lot of Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
The moment I think I specifically see is just like this comedic large strawberry that she bites
yes,
into.
that was great.
And like just when I feel like when she decides to kind of climb over the wall, it's her going through like the hole, because it's this like perfectly landscaped, just bright, like vibrant area, and it just feels like she's in Alice in Wonderland. Like that's her Alice in Wonderland.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And that moment also kind of reminded me, which is Alice in Wonderland inspired, but that Tom Petty Into the Great Wide Open music video, like, it kind of reminded me of that as well. But yeah, it goes right along with that. So I will go to something I was not thinking of going into this, but it definitely started hitting me in the middle of this movie, and that is Clueless.
Me too.
You were thinking about Clueless as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this character is like this blonde, like very like sure of herself, but also very kind of like Arrested Development, like kind of like silly and like. Okay, I really like this movie, by the way. I wasn't expecting it to, but here comes another gripe with it. These actors are way too old for these parts. Like, they're like 20-year-olds or something. The characters, and
Margot Robbie's like 36.
Yeah, like no, it doesn't. It does not work. But hey, maybe that's part of the whole making it like not realistic kind of thing going on here. But yeah, Clueless kept coming to mind as like this classic literature filtered through essentially like a 20-year-old, but just happens to be played by a 36-year-old. But yeah, so but you were thinking about Clueless as well, Joe?
Yeah. I don't know why, but that did pop up like several times.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
yeah, no, I think it fits pretty well. But do you have another one you want to bring up here?
no, I love the production design, and you know, it's kind of like a Disney movie with like a you know, with this undercurrent of like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, over the top Disney, absolutely. Nick, let's go to you.
So to kind of contrast a lot of the colors, she does a great job of like in those very emotional scenes, like draining the color, and especially with a lot of like the tension between Heathcliff and Catherine. There's like, it gives me a lot of like Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Especially with the performances. There's sometimes they don't have to say anything, and you know like what they want from each other or what they're trying to say about each other. Like I get that a lot in the two of them on those landscapes, you know, and it's the same thing in Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Like it's these two women on these landscapes, and it's very devoid of color, but there's so much inside of them that's like lighting up the frame. And
and the landscape.
Kubrick at all? Because there were certain scenes that I'm like, that looks so much like Kubrick.
Barry Lyndon.
Eyes Wide Shut-esque moments.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that like the space between them like really helps with like the longing of the characters and everything like that. And and I would imagine Portrait of a Lady on Fire is probably heavily inspired by the original Wuthering Heights.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think those big emotions kind of come through all around. So yeah, great one to include here. Let's go to you, Celine.
Well, focusing on like, I feel like there is this kind of falsehood to the colors. And I know Emerald Fennell says that I think this movie does influence this, and it was like Black Narcissus.
Okay.
and you can, there are pivotal moments throughout this entire thing that you can see that this movie is like a guiding point for her. So much white contrasting like the red, that defining movie, and like Dark Narcissus, where like the nun is putting on this like red lipstick. And I think that that movie also deals a lot with like repression and sexuality in like so many themes and tones and with that. And I feel like you get this too from Wuthering Heights, and like just kind of like the sense of liberating that sexuality and how degrading that can be.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what I.
Absolutely. That's actually a movie I have not seen. I one of those classics I've always wanted to catch up on, but definitely the look of it though, which I have seen, is like I could totally see that. And
like it's just kind of one of those things where like all the colors just feel so impactful and so saturated, like just in your face, and they feel fake in a sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of get that from Wuthering Heights as well, so I can tell that it's very much an influential piece. Yeah.
Well, I will go with a recent movie, maybe a little too modern or recent to have been an actual influence, but last year's Baby Girl, which also about two kind of awful people who are just like letting their sexual desires kind of like dictate just where they go with these relationships and just how far they destroy their lives basically over it. And like, good for them, go for whatever works for you, but like they're just awful people.
That's what made me think of like 80s Aaron Spelling TV shows, because like,
they usually do that.
They're so awful to each other, but we watch them and we love them every week. So that's
it's fun to watch people destroy themselves. That's what it comes down to. So it works really well. Well, we got your 80s shows there. So Nick, let's go to another one over there.
You brought up Baby Girl, and I was just reminded of a film that I don't think it's come out to theaters yet, but I got to see it in Cannes. It's called Pillion.
Oh, I want to see that.
Alexander Skarsgård, and I can't remember his name, but he's from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But it's this great film. It's got that like dark comedy that this kind of has as well. But it touches on like the really just messed up relationship that's dictated by sexual desire, and it's so, that movie is so well done. It's such a just masterclass in writing and also performance.
I'm really excited to see it. I think it comes
incredible.
out this weekend too.
Does it really?
I think so. Yeah, this weekend or next weekend.
Yeah. But you brought Baby Girl up, and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah. I think two A24 films too. But so let's go to one more over there.
Oh, I don't know. I just felt this was so 50 Shades of Grey in a sense.
Of course.
It like the red rooms to the sounds of like the whips to like just it through like the whole masochism of it all too.
Yeah.
And like the toxicity of the kind of the relationship of like being thought of as a pet, being thought of as like the dependency, the degrading. It just reminded me, so much of 50 Shades.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since it first came out. I don't really remember, but was there like a big focus on sound design in that movie? Because I feel like there was, with like you said, like the whips and like all the sounds and yucky stuff in this movie. So like the eggs and all that.
Oh my god!
So,
when he's like playing with it.
A lot of good sound design. You could picture them doing the Foley in like a room, just like smushing stuff.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it like literally opens with sound. He's up, like he's hanging.
Yeah. But we didn't think that's what he was doing. We thought
Exactly.
something else was happening.
We didn't think that's what he was doing. It's just plays such a key thing in this whole film.
Emerald's in the theater looking around at everybody like, oh, do you think?
Never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to open it up to the floor, see if we have any puzzle pieces here. We saw a hand right away. What do we got?
So, comedy, blood, action, young love, servant leaves, comes back. Was he a pirate? Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, that's the class difference is like a major picture of the movie.
Maybe he was a pirate.
And the transition. I think that's what made me think of Clueless. Just like one person is rich one moment and.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because like Princess Bride. I was wondering about the whole quotation marks on the title, Wuthering Heights here, and like I was wondering if it was going to be someone telling a story to somebody else, but it ended up not going there. But certainly there's like the question of how this story is being told. Was that like something that was a question? I don't know. I think maybe she forgot. I don't know. Anyway, do we have any other puzzle pieces out here? Right here?
It's a movie called Tampopo.
Oh,
It's from
nice.
1985.
Yes.
So it heavily deals with like, like the main plot is very different, but like there's these little like vignettes where they like heavily dive into like food and sex and like sensuality. So many shots in this movie, like when she's like kneading the dough, like the egg yolk, just different. Oh, when she like puts her finger in like the fish jelly.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Different, like really sensual moments. And then you had mentioned like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, but like really intimate hands of or really intimate shots of like hands, skin, like the tightening of her dress thing, whatever. So just really intimate, sensual shots like that.
Yeah, you can tell that Emerald Fennell, regardless of if you like her movies or not, like she clearly like loves some real good movies and is trying to do what she sees, and like it's just not always the best scripts. I feel like here this is my favorite movie that she's done so far. I don't know about how you guys feel, but she's definitely a student of movies like that and things where there's like really interesting things happening. So
I feel like she's really carving herself out like a little subcategory in film.
Yeah.
Like you know what kind of film you're gonna see when it's like Wes Anderson or a Scorsese film, and I think she's really carved it out.
I'm definitely starting to expect some goo.
Yeah, there's
with her,
goo.
for sure.
Yeah, a lot of
Lots
slime.
Lots of slime.
Lots of goo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fingers
absolutely.
and mouths. Yeah.
Some mazes here and there.
Yeah, little of that, little of that for
Rich
sure.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does love that. Anyone else have anything for us right up here?
After the movie ended, I typed in my phone so I wouldn't forget. First thing I typed was 50 Shades of Grey. And then Forrest Gump with the Jenny and Forrest and the tree.
This is the dirty version, but yes.
And then the closing song reminded me of Video Killed the Radio Star, the closing song.
Oh.
Reminded me of it.
Nice.
And also I wanted to note the movie Unfaithful with Richard Gere and Diane Ladd.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Gave me that feeling.
Great movie. I was wondering if this was going to go into more of that, like obviously with the setting, like it's going to be more classic, but I was wondering if it was going to kind of recall like the 90s sex movies, which is kind of like they're kind of
8.5 weeks or 9.5 weeks.
yeah, 9.5 weeks, like stuff like that. Like they're kind of out of style lately, but like I feel like they're slowly kind of making a little creep back, and maybe this is part of that.
Actually, I was thinking about Adrian Lyne. I'm like, what would be his take on this movie? It felt very Adrian Lyne at some point.
I would watch that version of Wuthering Heights for sure. So, anything else before we start getting into some closing thoughts? One more right here.
The first movie I actually thought of was Shrek.
Same.
The dirty version.
Yeah, when he's standing outside the door and he hears the conversation between what's her name, Catherine and Nellie. Shrek overhears a conversation between Fiona and Donkey, and then which drives him to leave and go away, and then she actually goes to marry a guy the next day. So very similar there.
I was thinking of Shrek too, because like in that one you're going into like the big castles and you're meeting the family, and like you've got the Prince Charming who's competing for her love, and
and how much bigger he is than her, and how he throws her shoulder.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. He also stuck his finger in a fish jelly.
Yeah.
I saw a hand up here.
Yeah, I guess for me, because it was a recent watch, similar to Materialists.
Materialists, yeah.
Just with the class difference and growing up together, things like that.
I love Materialists. One of my favorite movies of last year, and also I think part of the even though it's not like a trashy movie in any kind of way, but it is a kind of a movie that's kind of bringing sex and sexuality and like actual stories about people back to movies, and so really important movies for us to be watching in movie theaters. So, but yeah, great movie, absolutely. Let's start getting into some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to mention about the film, Joseph?
I just thought it was a fun pop culture extreme version of a story that has been told over and over again, and it was just fun for me, and it was beautiful to watch, and I love the leads.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Right on. Nick, what about you?
I'm excited that young people are going to the theater and that, that they're loving it. You know what I mean? We were saying before the show that you said that this was tracking for a big weekend, and it definitely is. And people are talking about it, and that's really exciting. And I'm glad that Emerald's making movies for young people. And
it's Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, exactly.
Bringing that back.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I just wish there was more Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna make a movie for the young people, you should put more Charlie in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point for sure. How about you, Celine?
I walked into this and I looked at Nick and I said, I am a big hater of this already. Just so many other things. And like you said, I haven't really been a big fan of her previous works. But honestly, I'm walking away from this not hating it.
There you go.
I will give her that. I will commend because she told the story how she wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining, and I find it fascinating. Also, I don't know why I just thought about it, but I was like, all the red and white just kind of reminded me of Crimson Peak. So I was just like, you know what?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Throw Crimson Peak on the list.
Like references.
I was also thinking of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that too. He's kind of like a vampire in a way.
Yeah,
but
he is.
but yeah, good stuff there. Absolutely. I just wanted to. We got one more hand right here.
Come to me, another romantic movie that grows on you after you've seen it. It was Somewhere in Time.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen Somewhere in Time.
Christopher Reeve and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wait, is it Jane Seymour? Anyway, Christopher Reeve. I know.
Yeah. Right on. I have to check that one out for sure. I wanted to just close out because we didn't really mention her at all during this. Alison Oliver, who plays Isabella, put her in more movies.
Yes.
She was so good.
She's great.
So good.
Fantastic.
I don't know. I guess she was in Saltburn too, but
Was she really?
yeah,
Oh.
but I haven't really seen her in anything. But yeah, she's so funny and so good and such presence and like
She is.
yeah, put that girl in more movies.
So
So
incredible.
I think that's a good place to wrap this movie up. Joseph, where can people find you? Anything you want to plug?
I'm working on two screenplays. One is set here, and I want to have it finished within the next 6 months.
Cool.
Anybody wants to give their opinions on it, shoot me an email.
Awesome. I'll have links in the show notes for everything. So, Nick, how about you? What do you want to promote?
Well, I'm working on a music video right now for an artist here in town named Maddie Jade. So that's going to be wrapping up pretty soon here in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out for that. I'll have my Instagram, I'm sure, in the bio or description, wherever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Right on. How about you, Celine?
You can find me on social media on Instagram as to work. Working on some short films. I work mostly as a costume designer, so it's pretty fun to do that. And I will be posting about it on my social media more than likely, so just follow along.
Very, very cool. Well, we will be back here at Maya Cinemas for The Bride next month, so more info about that's coming up very soon. But everybody, thank you so much for being here. That's our show for tonight.
Yay.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yes, thank you, David.
Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Wuthering Heights. Thank you to Celine Ochoa, Nick Patrick, and Joseph Malgarini for joining me on that one. Thank you to Maya Cinemas for having us out. Thanks to everyone who showed up, and thank you to you for listening. If you're enjoying piecing it together, make sure you are subscribed. We got a lot of episodes on the way. If you get subscribed, you'll find out about all of them as they come. You could also follow me on social media at PiecingPod and join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. With that said, it's time to close this out with a piece of music like I always do. I think I got a good one for today. This is a track from my second album, An Unseen Sky. The track is called Last Kiss, and I actually had a music video script that I wrote for this one. It's very Wuthering Heights-esque. Never ended up getting made. A lot of really good music videos came from this album, but this one never got made. So hey, if you're out there and you're a filmmaker and you're like, I want to work with Dave on something, get in touch. Maybe we can make this one day. It's a really cool video. But anyway, this is called Last Kiss from my album, An Unseen Sky. Hope you enjoy it. We'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.